The divisional round of the NFL playoffs kicks off on Saturday. Let's take a look at those two games. First, we'll start in the AFC. The Bills headed to Denver to take on the Broncos. And this to me is not Josh Allen versus Bo Nix. It's Josh Allen versus a tremendous Denver Broncos defense. They have dominated teams this year. We just saw Josh Allen get beat to a pulp by the Jaguars last week. Guess what? The test is even harder this week. Denver led the NFL with 68 sacks, and they had 80 quarterback knockdowns. So, Josh Allen, can you stay upright? Can you stay healthy enough to get your team through this game and get enough points to win? Now, for what it's worth, Josh Allen did that just fine last year, winning 31-7 and ending the Broncos season. So, there's some evidence there that he can do it, but every playoff game is obviously its own unique animal, and we'll see if he can do it against Denver this year. By the way, not for nothing, but Josh Allen, you got to play the Jags last week. Now you got to play an even tougher defense in Denver this week. And if you win, you might have to play an even tougher defense in the Houston Texans next week. That would be an incredible road to overcome. But that's a different preview for a different day. From the Broncos side of it, look, it's a tough task, okay? Winning against Josh Allen in the playoffs, other quarterbacks will tell you that aren't Patrick Mahomes, it's not easy. But Sean Payton is going to have something tricky up his sleeves. You know he's going to do it, right? We all remember the onside kick in the Super Bowl. Sean Payton will have some weirdness planned and ready to go. Now, the Bills defense gave up the fewest passing yards of anybody in the NFL this year, but that may be a little skewed because they were also terrible against the run. So teams may have just kept the ball on the ground, right? Why fly when you can drive? So that'll be the test for the Broncos offense. Can you sustain a running attack against this Bills defense? And then when you do have to pass, does Bo Nix have something special dialed up? Maybe Sean Payton has something dialed up to get enough points. Because I think Josh Allen's going to put the pressure on you. The question is going to be, can the Broncos respond? And how much do they have to respond to? How many scoring drives can Josh Allen actually lead in this game? It would be a massive step up for Bo Nix if he was able to get this win. Then you'd be hosting the AFC Championship again. I'm getting ahead of myself. That's a preview for another day. But Bills Broncos is going to be a lot of fun. Now, let's get to the other game. In the NFC, the Niners, the beaten and battered and broken Niners, somehow keep this roller coaster on the tracks. They now go to Seattle for a rematch against the Seahawks, who just stomped the Niners in their own house in Week 18. Not fun for me as someone who covers the 49ers. But this one is going to be fascinating to me. As much as we all, again, like to look at the quarterbacks, it's the defenses that have stood out in these two games. The teams split the games this year in the regular season, of course. The Seahawks, only averaged 13 points in those two games, and the Niners averaged 10. So the defenses have really dominated this matchup. So which team's offense is going to add a new wrinkle, right? A new play, a trick play like we saw last week from the 49ers? Which offense is going to have something? Because they really haven't been able to break through. Sam Darnold has not thrown a touchdown pass against the 49ers this year. So I feel like that's sort of the undercovered story when you get to this. And also, of course, as it is with every playoff matchup, which quarterback protects the ball better, right? Brock Purdy threw 2 bad interceptions last week, but got bailed out by his defense because the Niners only gave up 3 points after those interceptions. Sam Darnold has led the NFL in turnovers this year with 20. So he has to protect the ball also. That's going to be a key matchup in this one. I will say this. I am a little nervous because Brock Purdy hasn't exactly fared well in his 5 matchups against Mike Macdonald. 6 touchdowns, 8 interceptions in those games. Now, 4 of those picks came against the Ravens that Mike Macdonald coordinated in one game, but still, it hasn't been great. Plus, the 49ers have to play this game without George Kittle. That is obviously not going to help anything. Demarcus Robinson was great last week against the Eagles. You're not playing the Eagles defense this week, and that's no disrespect to Philly, but this Seattle defense is on a whole nother level. So for this game, the story is going to be, can the 49ers keep it up? Can this zombie 49er team that just continually loses star players somehow find a way to scratch and claw against a divisional opponent? We know division games are always crazy. So Saturday of divisional weekend is going to be a ton of fun. I can't wait to watch it. There's your breakdown. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera from the Pro Football Insiders.